Good morning, everyone, if you're in the Philippines, and good evening if you are in LA. It's your boy, Ryvolution, also known as Boy Project. And here with me is the other boy proven Maniac. Make some noise. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's going on?
What's going on, Cam? For everyone else, we're just going to be here right now. There are different time zones, but we decided to spare some time to catch up, to chat, to update each other and also you guys
hmm
about what's been going on. But before we get to today's episode, make sure you do subscribe to this YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. Let's get to it. So, Cam, tell us about yourself, bro.
Ah, 32. Lived in Cali pretty much my entire life. Moved away from the West for a short bit, but came back. Been out here ever since. Been dancing over 20 years. Of
Nice.
those 20, I've been in the club game since 2006, 2007. Dancing for a good minute now. It's been a good chunk of my life now. You know, dance, life, all that, just in general. It's been my way of life for a good long while now, and I wouldn't change it no other ways.
Actually, if you guys didn't know, fun fact, but Cameron here is the first Jack to call me out in the fam.
Yeah,
Cam, you still
yeah,
remember that?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I told what happened at the time before PJ said anything about bringing them in. I told PJ I was like, okay, well, when it happens, I'm gonna be the one doing that virtual put on. Like, I'm gonna be the one doing it. He was like, go after it. I'm like, oh, you have said nothing but a word. So called him out. Went a couple rounds so that way you can get the gist of it, which you did. You adjusted very quickly from that battle initially. Since then, like I said, as long as I've been under the PJ, PJ and P-Buck, because I'm under both of them. For as long as I've seen, you've adjusted to the style fast. When I say fast, I mean quickly. You've adapted and brought your sense of the style into what you've made it now, and you're a monster in your own right. I'll tell you that. That's for sure. That is for sure. You are a force. Since that you've always been one, but since that you've kept on going upward, building, building, building. So keep on growing.
Thank you,
That's for
bro.
sure.
Thank you. And also, I forgot to mention, but going back to that battle that we had, if you guys want to watch it as well, I'll leave a link to it in the description below. So yeah,
Sheesh, like I said, I've been in the game since 2006, 2007. Had a few things happen to me while I was going through that process medically that I was dealing with at the time. I was transitioning from being at the prime of my life back in high school to trying to, just trying to maneuver my way in this thing we call life, finding out, who I am as a person, but not only that as a person, but go through this crub game at the same time. It kind of went hand in hand in that same sense, because like I said, I was going through a lot. I had, let's say it was my set of chest surgeries that I was going through, which I had 5 of those altogether. It was a lot having to go about trying to balance those, deal with that, go through high school at the time, which I was originally supposed to graduate out of high school in 2008, but due to what was going on at the time, I had to go and step back. I went missing. I was recovering for a good while, so nobody knew what was going on with me. Nobody heard anything. I was gone as far as high school is concerned for a good months. So again, I didn't graduate in 08. That's when I was supposed to graduate, but because of everything that was going on, I walked the stage in 09. Since that, I mean, I've had a back surgery where I had to be retaught how to walk, going through the trials of being from DC, working my way up through that, being put on to DC, being put on under Projecc and BUCK'N Fam, which, you know, those trials were heavy. Nothing was easy. I had to work for those, and I still do work for those. You know, nothing like that was easy. Since that, I've had to fight off polio, having to deal with that, being paralyzed for a good while, being put on the shelf for another 6 months. That didn't happen until 2017. Yeah, May 9th, 2017, actually. Having to deal with that, you know, the struggles of dealing with that on a daily basis, like that, along with my crop life, has kept me grounded for a good long while, you know. So I mean, as far as this dance, this life, you know, it's played hand in hand with me for sure, little by little. It hasn't been an easy road, I'll say that. Nothing about it has been easy, but it's all forged me and made me into the person I am today. Mm-hmm. That I can say for sure. Hardworking, resilient, relentless, won't stop until I go and I get done what, you know, I reach my goal. When I reach my goal, continue fighting and stay up there.
I still remember that time when, after our battle, you also told me about that story. And honestly, for me, that time I was also really inspired, because I also felt like, in a way, we were able to easily relate, because what your story or your character is were tragic. Like, your story of becoming tragic also relates to my story of how I also became Skxrz. And I won't get too deep into the story, but I'll give a one-liner where it's all these scars that I've endured make me stronger today. And I feel like that's something we both have in common, that we've gone through stuff before, we've gone through the hardships, but all of this is what molds us today. And also, along with that, I want to share with you some of my stories of trying to build up in the different teams and different fams that I've been a part of. Like, for example, I've been Monster StreetBauss, and from there, like, I've had a moment where I got down ranked. I became Boys StreetBauss because I lost against Kid Boss that time. And since he killed me off, he ended up becoming Killer Boss. That time, it was also quite a disappointing moment for me. But that time I thought to myself, just for 7 months straight, to just lab, to focus on what I gotta do. And also, it was the perfect timing, because at the end of those 7 months was also when I took the Bucks Away program under Tight Eyes. Afterwards, that's when I also became who I am today, StreetBauss X. Big Boss has explained to me before, when I got my rank, that he says, in our fam, the X rank is a twin rank. So he calls me Twin X sometimes. But I also think to myself that even in Boss Fam, I'm not done yet. Like, sure, I do have the twin rank, but I'm still not yet, like, my work there is still not yet done. And I thought to myself that I also want to become a Torch. Like, you know how my big homie is called Big Boss Torch. And for me, I also want to have both names under that fan. So
Right.
I think going along this journey, it also involves like finding out what are those goals you have for yourself, and what challenges or what you got to do in order to get there. And I think with that, I want to ask you as well, like, what do you think are goals that you have for yourself right now, and what challenges do you think will come along the way?
When it comes to the subject of challenges, I mean, it's constantly learning and constantly evolving the PM style. Also the mindset, because that's an everyday challenge. Because when I first got put on under PJ and BUCK, which that was a war that day. The challenge of trying to understand the style of not only just one, but both, knowing how both of them are, because equally by themselves, both of them are monsters. They're both
indeed
like they are both heavy. Understanding, how to go and figure out like how to incorporate both sides into one, or continuously using one side and then switching to the other, or going in between and trying to find that middle ground. That's the main challenge, is trying to not necessarily stay too focused on one side or the other, because keep in mind, both sides are, it's kind of like molding your sense, yourself, your style, how you move, how you think, how you move, how you operate. Like a person who makes pottery, it's something simple, yes, when it comes to making pottery, or so it seems on the surface, but it's what really goes into it. And however it is, whatever challenges that may come with it, is where most of the challenges come from. Because it sounds, it sounds like this and that, it sounds easy, or it might sound simple, but the reality of it is, when you get deep into it and you try and figure it out and you see for what it is, when you get that understanding, it's not easy at all. It's not. Because like I said, I got both sides of it. It's not just the one, even though I'm under them no matter what, and I'm under them, you know what I'm saying? It's not just the one. And that's partly, why there's only what, let me see as far as the PMs go. UJMV, obviously the big one, Slick. So 3, you have Young, you have myself, you have I want to say there's only like 5 of us. I'm sitting on both. I have both things that I can go and gather things from. So I mean, the challenge itself would be just trying to go and not only figure out, like I say, that middle ground, but also elevating that and continuing to go and evolve that, is where the challenge is.
What are your ways of trying to slowly evolve yourself into that?
To be honest, the best way I can go and to evolve that would be just being the best me that I can be. Be the best version of yourself that you can be, and getting not half, not part, but every single bit of me that I can go and deliver. Being the best me that I can be.
Amen.
And that's with anything in life. This ain't got to do with dance. This is just in general. For whatever you try and go and immerse yourself in, always be the best that you can be. Be the best you that you can be. Don't worry about what somebody else is doing. Don't overthink it. Relax, be the best version of you that you can be. Don't overthink, and it'll honestly just come to you.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how I go about doing that and being the best me that I can be.
I think that's a really important lesson that a lot of people need to take note of, because this is also something that leads to originality, or as I like to also say sometimes, unorthodoxy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Because I've seen this a lot in other battlers, but I've seen people who've been so uptight in the battle that
Mm-hmm.
they don't end up getting off to their fullest because they're
Mm-hmm.
so focused on the banter and on showing off when
Mm-hmm.
they forgot it's all about the dance, it's all about the exchange, it's all about the energy, so on and so forth. And also, segue, but these are things that Shutdown also talks about in the last episode. So if you want to hear what he had to say about that, I'll leave a link to it in the description below as well.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, what are your thoughts on that? On people who are too uptight when it comes to battle, that they forget about their own dance.
If I had to go and put my nose or my input into why people do this or how I feel about someone doing this, I would say this, and this is a major life lesson that anybody can go and hear and or use. That would be, whatever it is that you're doing, don't lose yourself in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Because the one moment that you go and you proceed to lose yourself in the process of whatever it is that you're trying to do, it's done at that point. The moment that you lose yourself and you forget why you're doing what you're doing, that's it at that point. Have fun in what you're doing. Of course, when it's battle time, of course, be serious about it, take it seriously. That's a given. If you can't have fun in anything that you're doing, then there's no point of you doing it. If you lose sight of what's going on, lose yourself in any little bit of what you're doing, you're in trouble. Anybody's in trouble. Have fun. Stay focused on the task at hand of what you're doing, but don't ever forget to go and to, like I said, have fun. Take things seriously when they need to be serious, of course, but have fun. Like, that's literally have fun with what you're doing, because when you get to a point and you lose yourself, that's when it's not going to be fun for you anymore, for anyone anymore. We gotta remember, when we're on this little thing we call Earth, life is way too short. It's way too short. People always forget, or seem to forget, and not remember that we always gotta still go and have fun in everything that we do. Have fun with what we're doing, because if we can't have fun with what we're sitting here talking about or doing, especially when it comes to crump and in this dance, if we can't have fun with it, there's no point of us doing it anymore.
Mm-hmm. That's facts.
Say for example, outside of dance, I am a cosplay / scare actor. I'm a veteran of that over 10 years. There's a saying that a close friend of mine who I had the pleasure of knowing and working with once said, once you lose sight of the fun that you're having when it comes to this kind of a thing, and it doesn't feel fun anymore, and it starts to become a job, that's when you need to stop doing it. It's not a job. If it's not fun to you anymore, regardless of what it is that you're doing, that's when you have to stop. Once it becomes unfun for you, and it doesn't feel like you can have fun in doing this anymore, that's where you need to draw the line. And that's in crop life, anything. Have fun with what you're doing. Yes, take it. Yes, be serious when the time comes, but always remember to know when it's good to go and expend and use that energy the right way.
Amen.
That's about like always have fun with what you're doing. Always, never lose sight of what you're doing when it comes to your goals and what you're trying to achieve. But have fun while you do it. It's never okay to go and overthink or overdo anything. You gotta know and be able to pick and choose your battles when it's the right time for you to go about doing this or that. That's life. Life is like a game of chess. Like whatever moves you make, what the very next move you got to make has to be a more better one than the last to put yourself in an advantageous situation when you have to be there. That's my honest opinion when it comes to that.
I wanted to go back to what you said about losing yourself. And for me, like, this is something that I also picked up from simply just meditating about it. And actually, I just meditated about it this morning, like before hopping on this call. So I thought about lives as somewhat like a flame. You know, imagine lighting up a candle, and when you look at it and you're in a dark place, it looks beautiful. It lights up the room. But also wind blows at it and it goes in different directions. And it does look chaotic. It does when it goes in all these, when it flares in all these different directions. But it still looks beautiful. And I also think that's the same for Crump. Like, you can flare in all directions. You can express anything in Crump, whether you're angry, whether you're sad, whether you're happy. And it will look ugly, but also it will look beautiful.
Yes.
If you understand what I mean.
Yes.
But that's why I also agree with you. Like, you also gotta use it. You also gotta use it in such a way where you're not hurting people. Like, I've seen people who've thrown at other people in a battle, literally.
Yeah, I've seen it happen.
I've also seen people throw middle fingers in battles. I've had people throw middle fingers at me. And honestly, I'll tell you guys, I'll say it right here, right now. Throwing middle fingers is not buck. Throwing middle fingers in a battle is not buck.
It's not. But some people do what they feel that they can, regardless of however they feel like they need to send a message. Some people don't know. Some people don't feel like they can't send out a message with their movements. So they go and they react out or act out, and they do this or that, whether, like you mentioned, throwing something or dropping a finger. That's one thing that people have to understand and know, that keep your emotions in check. That's not something that a lot of people know how to do nowadays. Is to keep oneself in check. When you're able to go and fully keep yourself in check and do things of that nature like that, then it's fine. Hey, that's what you're supposed to do. But in today's day and age, not many people know how to do that, and it's unfortunate. But what can we do?
Yeah. But also relating to that, I wanna quote what our big homie said in one of the lives he did in the Crumpers page, and he talks about how Crump needs to be more of a safe space, especially for kids. Like, that's why for me, I'm also not for That's why also for me, I'm not for like throwing middle fingers at people in a battle or doing all the doing all the, so to say, violent stuff in a battle. Eventually, because eventually kids are also gonna see these footages. They're gonna they're gonna need people to look up to, whether it's also other young hitters or whether it's also other heavy hitters, vets, OGs. And if
Mhm.
they see this kind of stuff, they're gonna think it's okay. And they might bring that not only within Crump, but they might also bring it to school with them or
Right.
to their homes. And people might even wonder, like, where are they learning this from?
You have to understand and keep in mind that, and this ain't got nothing to do with the kids. Well, I'm getting ready to say, but in that same sense, it does. But we got to remember at all times, like, somebody's always out there watching us, looking at us. We are someone's light, someone's role model, someone's inspiration out there somewhere. And in this game, when it comes to the little ones, like TJ said, a lot, Fudd said, B-Bucket said, a lot of people have said, we have to protect these little ones and go about changing the way we do things. Because when it comes to because when we stop and we can't dance anymore like that, and we're out of the movement but still in it, you know, it's the little ones that are gonna be the next generation of this that are in this dance, and when they take it over, and we're pretty much setting the example for how things should be, how things need to be, how things should be. And we can't go and just, do these things that we think that, oh, okay, like you mentioned, dropping a finger, throwing things, doing things that are out of pocket, and think that these little ones who we're sitting here teaching this to, not actually teaching, but in that same sense teaching when what they see us and they see what we're doing and they think it's okay when it comes to certain things like that. And the reality of it, it's not. Like what I just said, the kids are the next generation of this. The young ones are the next generation of this.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta watch them, protect them, let them know that we gotta go about doing things the right way. Of course, the little ones are gonna carve up their own past when they get older, of course, and go about doing things different. Which, who hasn't? We all have. We all have had to go and carve our own ways, not only through this dance, but life. We've all had to go and cut our own pathways. Period, point blank. There's not one person who hasn't went and had to go and either figure out who they were, who they are, or which way they need to go about doing something when it comes to their own journeys. We've all had to go and figure that out one way or another. The little ones would do the same. It doesn't fail, but one thing that can fail or change that we need to change is the negativity that may come with the lifestyle, this dance, or anything like that, and try and keep it on a positive level. Because like we already know, the kids are the ones that are next up. We're not getting no younger as much as we wish. Mm-hmm. We're not getting no younger. I'm gonna be 33 coming next year.
And I'm gonna be 24.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the kids are sitting here looking at us. We can't be the ones out here setting up or being a bad example for the kids, especially knowing that when we're done, they're going to be the ones that's next up, taking this dance over, taking over this movement. And that's just in life, period. We gotta try and keep it positive for the little ones. Now, Will there be moments to where we can go and keep things positive? Of course, it's life. Life is always ever changing. That's a given. Ain't nothing in this world that we gonna go through or do perfect.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody was to say that we're this is perfect or we're gonna do things perfect, then excuse my language, but they lying like hell. Because ain't nothing around this piece is ever gonna be perfect. Nothing around here will ever go and fully be perfect. But at the end of the day, though, it ain't what you do when it comes to something being perfect. It's how you go about doing it.
Facts.
It ain't what you do, it's how you go about doing it. We got to go about doing it for the ones that we can go and influence, which should be all of the next generation, because at the end of the day, the little ones see us and they're sponges. They're going to absorb what we're doing, how we're going about doing it. And I can guarantee you somewhere later on down the line, depending on the influence that little one gotten or may have had, it can be for the positive, which we would hope it would, or it could be for the negative. Because like I said, they're going to end up choosing and cutting up and carving their own paths in this world that we call life. But while we're here and while we can, it's up to us to go and to show them that it doesn't always have to be on a negative note. It doesn't always have to be on a negative level. Mm-hmm. It can also be shown as a loving, caring, energetic, inspiring force that drives us all as to why we're doing it. Because that's what it was. That's what it was for me. Well, every single time that I lace up the shoes and the track starts playing, I'm not just doing it for, because I love the dance, I love the moment, but it's because I know someone out there, somewhere or another, who has either known me or who doesn't know me is out there looking, and I am telling my story one way or another. So we have went through some sort of highs, some sort of lows, but yet at the end of the day, I'm still inspiring that little one or the next little ones to go and not only push and help carry the movement, but also be a part of something that's bigger than themselves. We always got to watch out for the little ones. That should, if we're grown and we're wanting to be something while we're out here, then we always got to watch out for the little ones. Always got to protect the babies. That's a must.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stress that enough. Always got to watch out for the little ones, and hell, I'll take it even further. It's not even just the little ones. It could be somebody who's our ages, maybe even older. I can't even tell you how many people I've known or know that know my story of me having my chest cut up on, my surgically repaired back, my nerves that are currently permanently damaged. That's someone that I know who knows what I went through from the ins and outs, that can tell you that they are inspired by me enough that because they know what I went through, they know that I fought back from what most people should. I'm gonna be honest. I say it all the time, even though I probably shouldn't, but in that same sense. As much as I done been through, I shouldn't be here right now. I'll be the first one to tell you that. I shouldn't. But yet here I am. I'm walking, talking, still pushing my message of don't stop, keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stop, keep going. It's like that post that PJ had made. What was it? Last night, I believe it was. He said, "I'm tired," and yes. I told him, which you commented on. I'm tired too. I get it. I understand it, but we still got stuff to do. Take a rest, do what you need to, but we still got stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
because we're still out here making our marks on life, this world, and society. We still have a legacy that we're still not done creating.
Mhm.
You know, so by all means, we get tired. He's tired. I'm tired. We all get tired. But yeah, we still gotta continue to keep pushing.
Mhm.
Don't stop. Keep going.
I also think for me, like that's also why community is important. That's also why Crump fams are important. Is because also these people are also there to back you up whenever.
Yep.
Like honestly, I know that. Then again, I'm here all the way in the Philippines. You guys are there in the US, but even from afar, like we're still giving each other that support. Like that's why I also think when it comes to joining or becoming part of a fam, it also takes a lot of loyalty, a lot of work, a lot of growth, and the stuff that make the overall journey. And
Good.
I also mentioned one time in somewhere in my notes where I said it even matters in the little ways of how you guys treat each other. Like for example, as simple as what you mentioned earlier where you commented on the big homies post. And also I remember I also wanted to make sure that you guys know that like I'm still here for you guys from afar. That's why I also commented that hoping you guys get the rest that you guys deserve. Like it matters even in those simple ways how you treat anyone, in fact. And like even for example, from time to time, like out of nowhere, I would just send you the randomest memes that I find. Or even for example, in our fam group chat, we all like to roast each other from time to time. Like
that's daily.
Yeah. I think it's also very important. Like I think it's also all about making other people feel welcome into entering any community or any Crump fam or any movement, so on and so forth.
It is like you say. You're in the Philippines. We have JECCz just about on every single corner of this planet. You're in the Philippines. 20s in Spain. We got Conduit, who's in South Korea. Got PJX, who's in Venezuela down there. Got multiple fan members over in Ireland, Scotland, over up towards that way. You have the core of us who are either all in LA or all across the US. Like that support that we have for one another, it's amazing. It's a feeling that it's indescribable. You know what I mean? Like it literally, it's indescribable. There's no real way that I can go and be like, okay, this is this or this is that way. Because at the end of the day, no matter where we are on this earth, we still have one another's backs. I said it all the time, and I say it to them all the time, and I'll say it here because it's the dead truth. I'd go to war for any single person in this fam, and the same thing goes for anyone in DCX. I will go to, if they need it, I would go to war for them or with them too. Because not only have they been a support system, but it's a fam. Like it's not just a crew. Like it's a literal fam. Like there's nothing that I wouldn't do for anyone that's in the crew or in the fam, because we're all so grounded, because we're that close. Like, it's always been that way. It's been that way even before I even became fam. And hell, it was that way when I was just, hanging out with them, being around them. And that was long before I was a part of, before I got put onto the fam, before I got put onto DC. Like, it was always like that. And that's how it always should be. Be there for one another, support one another, love one another. Be there for each other. Because you never know who may need it, who's watching, and or who's looking. Hell, and I've been, let me see, I'm coming up on my DCX anniversary. Matter of fact, on the 30th of this year was almost 3 or 4 years ago now that I've been in DCX now, about 3 or 4 years now. And as far as the fam goes, it's been almost 5 years now. Like it's always been that way. And like I say, that's how it should be. That's how it's supposed to be.
I just realized, segue, but if for you it's been 5 years of being in the JECCz, for me it's been 5 months.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
And it all intertwines and it comes together as it should.
Yep. Yes, but also I want to add to that, but you know that people are fam when you know you've been in the group for not so long, yet it feels like you've been there since forever. You get what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep, it's always like that. Like, it doesn't matter how long you could have been there, as far as your timing is concerned. It's because time is one thing, but yeah, it's the bond that you have with this group of people that is where it matters the most.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it matters the most. Time is one thing, yes. Building that chemistry with these people that you're around and that you hang out with and that you dance with. Time is one thing, but it's the bond is where it matters most. Our bond that we've had and still currently have, I wouldn't change it for the world. I love this feeling, this vibe, this energy that we all have. Not just for in the fam, but as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I say, that's how it should be. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not always like that when it comes to certain things, but because again, not everything's supposed to be good looking. Not everything's supposed to be perfect.
Yeah.
There's always it has to be some type of dirt that cracks or that gets in there between the seams. If they didn't, then it wouldn't be real. It wouldn't be genuine.
Yep.
I'd rather it be, I'd rather go into something knowing that it's not perfect. Like it is messy a little bit, yes, but it's not anything that we can't go and overcome.
Mm-hmm.
And not only as individuals, but as fam.
Amen.
Like I said, I love the fam. Like, I'm like that bond that we have and that we built since then has been amazing. It's not going anywhere. I'm not gonna want to go anywhere. I don't plan on going anywhere. I plan on staying here for the rest of my days, as far as being under PJMB, but for the rest of my life. I don't care how old I get. This is home. Mm-hmm. I'm not going anywhere. DCX is home. I'm not going anywhere. The bond, the brotherhood, the sisterhood that we all have and that we share with one another is a feeling that you can't go and get from anywhere else like that.
And for me, that throws me back all the way to when I met PJ for the very first time in person this year, and that was at DCX session. And of course, the way he treated me, I would have to say he was one of the most welcoming people there in the session. Well, along with FUD, of course. I also still remember, like, I messaged him and also said thank you so much when I flew back home. And 2 weeks later, that's when he invited me to be a part of the fam. And then again, you guys know the story where I thought to myself at first, do I really deserve this? Until I talked to my other big homie and he said to go for it. So until this day, I do not regret saying yes to that offer, because it's only been, then again, 5 months, and I've also learned a lot. I've learned a lot, not only just about Crump, but also about life in general. And also, I have you guys to learn from as well. And I also, then again, like, I found the fam that I belong in. For me, that's coming from me. And you know, I used to be a type of person where I would want to be under this person, or I would want to be part of this person. You know, I'm pretty sure we've all had that thought at one point. Yeah, like we all have that dream fam that we want to be a part of. But for me, it's the same here. Like, there are people, like, these people are people that also accepted me. You guys are also people that took me in. And that's also not something that you'll find anywhere else.
Right.
Yeah, that's why it's also so golden. Like, the love that you receive in Crump, it's golden. Sometimes I even like to think that it's blue, especially since, you know how they say that blue is the hottest flame that burns. You know how it is. JECCz for life.
Always.
Yeah.
When it comes to life in this dance, have fun. Give 100% of yourself to everything that you do in this life. Live no regrets. None. And most importantly, if not the most important, but definitely, never be afraid to throw caution into the wind. Because if you go and you don't go and take these chances and don't go and end up doing these things, there's always that question in the back of your mind: what if? What if this? What if that? No. Always just throw caution into the wind. Never be afraid to limit. Never, and I mean never, go and limit yourself to just one thing in particular. Always keep an open mind.
Yes. Amen. Yeah, I wanted to go back real quick to that concept that I mentioned earlier about how flame also, when it lights up, it flares and it looks chaotic and it looks beautiful. But also along with that, sometimes it can also be put out and it's just a candle wick there without any flame, or smoke that from a fire that just freshly died. And we do tend to feel that way from time to time. Even I've felt that way before. I've even thought a couple times that I'm gonna stop dancing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I had that plan for myself a couple times that I wanted to stop dancing. But in moments like those, that's also when I talk to my other teammates, the people that I danced with. That's also when I talked to my
Mm-hmm.
blockmates also, in fact. After talking with them, that's when I rethought about what my
Mm-hmm.
plan really was. And I just found myself here today again,
Mm-hmm.
still doing what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Of course, not as active as I used to be, or not as frequent as I used to be
Mm-hmm.
training, but I'm still here.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And, I'm still here. I still haven't stopped dancing. And for me, that's why I also think that when your flame is put out, sometimes we just need another flame from someone else to
Mm-hmm.
relight that candle so that we can get back to work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a firm believer in when it comes. It's a saying that I use and I say all the time when it comes to lighting your fire or keeping that flame lit. It goes, don't allow someone or something to ever go and extinguish your flame. Always keep your flame lit.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for whatever you're doing, whether it's something that's going on in life or something that you're doing in this world of dance, never be afraid to go and, like I said, throw caution into the wind. But not only that, but always remember, more than anything, protect your flame. Do not allow no one, and I mean no one, to go into quote unquote knock you off of your pedestal, to never go and extinguish your flame. Because at the end of the day, there's only one thing and one person or one being that can ultimately go and shut that flame off, especially if we're in control of it. It's ourselves. No other being can come in literally and try and extinguish your flame unless you allow them to. You are in control of what happens around you in your life, in your own immediate circle, in this life and dance. Always keep your flame protected. Yes, it might diminish a little bit when we're going through our rough patches or our tough times, yes, but still, at all times, keep your flame lit.
Mm-hmm.
Never let somebody else try and come in and extinguish that from you,
Mm-hmm.
because that's not fair to you, or for anyone else to try and come in and be able to go in to shut that flame off.
Mm-hmm.
Always keep that flame protected.
Yep. I also had this theory
Mhm.
that what if hearts are actually meant to burn so bright, or our flames are actually meant to burn bright enough
Mhm.
that it overcomes darkness, and the darkness is too weak to overpower the world.
It can, but at the same time, it can't. It just solely depends on what's going on at that time frame.
Mm-hmm.
It varies. Like things like that are constantly changing. Like it's never a time to where something is solid or or it's constantly changing. Like it's always one or the other.
Yep.
Like it doesn't, like nothing ever thoroughly goes and stays the same when it comes to that, and nor should it.
And we're back.
So going off of what we were saying from before the commercial break, it's always important to go and to keep your flame lit, no matter what color.
Mm-hmm.
It can burn blue, it can burn the orangish, reddish color that it's supposed to burn. Always keep your flames lit. Always. It's important, and I can't stress that enough, because like I say, you never know who or what could be not only watching, but for our sake and for our sanities, you know, it's always important to go and to keep our flames lit. Because we never know, you know, what we're really made of. We never really know up until things start to either seem like they get dim, or we're struggling, going through a really trying and difficult time. We never know what we're truly made of up until we hit those moments and we get there, and it seems like we're struggling, but yet in the end we come out on top of our situations.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we know our fires are built to last, and we don't allow no one to try and come in and to try and change that up or separate that, because again, we're in charge of that. We are in control of our own personal face, our own destinies, our own flames.
Mm-hmm.
Our own feelings, how we go about things, how we feel about certain things.
Yeah.
We're in charge of that. We're in control of that at all times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And along with that, I think another concept that I wanted to add there was, as you mentioned, there are people that are watching.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Somehow. And even sometimes it could be just you who's watching.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You know, let's say sometimes you have a moment where your flame is kind of dim, and you watch yourself again in a moment where your flame was much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could also use those as moments where you could relight your flame. Or let's say, for example, your flame is dim. You talk to someone, have them give you a little pep talk, or the tough love, or however they see whatever you need at the given moment. That's also for me a moment where your flame can also be relit, or could use a little help to burn brighter, so to say, and burn more chaotically and more beautifully. And I think that same flame applies, as I mentioned earlier, it applied in life, where I talk to my teammates, I talk to my fam members, I talk to my blockmates, my classmates, so on and so forth. But I also think it also applies on the dance floor, wherever it is, wherever it's the streets, the studios, as long as there's a dance floor and there are people putting in their flame together, whether it's a session or a battle. I think people forget that sometimes, that it doesn't always have to be about, you know, putting out someone's flame, as you said also earlier. Of course, when it comes to beef, that's kind of a different story, and I guess we can save that for another time. But focusing more on this, it's more about exchanging flames. I'm pretty sure that we've heard that phrase a lot. Exchange a flame. And I think for me, that's also the exchange of flame within the culture is what makes it beautiful.
Oh yes, definitely. Absolutely right in that. Like, let's say for example, the day I got put on in becoming a PM, it was a day like no other. I will never forget that day. we were at the time, because we weren't at the location, the BCX wasn't at the location where we are now. We were at a different location. That's not too far from me. I had walked in. I guess they had already talked about it prior to me even getting there. So when I initially got there, I didn't know what was going on. Like, they pretty much, I was like a deer in the headlights. I didn't know what to expect. Like, they surprised me with it. But the level of flames and heat that were exchanged that day ultimately turned me and forced me into the machine that I am currently. Like, it helped forge that, even though I'm still constantly changing and evolving how I am, not only as a person but as a whole when it comes to this style. You know, it definitely helped when it came to that, because like I said, I don't just have one big homie, I have two. I'm under Projecc and BUCK, so during that whole exchange I had to battle both of them. And like I said, both of them are monsters. They're both heavy. Like, there's nothing light about them when it comes to their get off. Not even a little bit. The flames that were exchanged that day were heavy enough to where for the next 3 days after the fact, I didn't get out of bed. I couldn't. Physically, I couldn't. They literally and figuratively on the dance floor beat the hell out of me to the point to where I couldn't get out of bed. But the flames that were exchanged that day were something that I will always go and remember and hold on to for the rest of my life. For sure. And lo and behold, here I am now, almost 5 years later, the boy of the fam, but the monster that I am, that they helped forge and create. It's been a journey, and like I said, I'm still looking forward to what goes into it, not only at this present moment, but as far as next year goes. We're already in December. This year is pretty much gone. Don't know what happened to it, but this year is getting ready to go. We're getting ready to walk into a whole another year. So if anything, I'm looking forward to not only most seeing where this journey goes, and not only takes myself, but you, everyone in the fam.
Yep.
Everyone in the crew as a whole, when it comes to DC, you know, looking forward to where their journeys and their lives takes them. Because like I said earlier, you know, we all have our own paths and journeys that we all must go upon. Everybody, we all do. Whether the journey is positive or whether it's, you know, it's troubling, and we're going through something at that time. But it's those same fires that help fuel us and that keep us going. And I can confidently say for mine is going to continue to stay lit. Just like I know yours is, PJ's, B-Bucks, John's, David's, you know, everyone's, Lady PJ's, everyone. All of our flames are going to continue to be lit and burn bright.
Right.
You know, they were already burning bright before, but even that much more.
Right. I'm gonna say that from now on. Right.
Yeah. Gotta speak that energy into the universe, bro. Because if you don't speak it, then other than anybody else in the fam who always thinks positive, of course, or should think positively, who else is gonna do it? Always gotta keep that positive flow going, even when things seem like it's not worth, you know, going and putting that energy towards.
Yeah.
Even when it seems like it's not right for us to go and put that energy out there, we should always keep that energy and put that energy into the air. Because again, if we don't do it, who else would? We always gotta keep that. We always gotta keep that positive energy field going. It's this game of Crump life in general has brought me a lot of places, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. I've been in the game for a while now. It doesn't seem like it, but I've been here for a while now. I'm just happy and grateful that I not only have the fam that I'm in, but those who I am around to go and to be able to share and tell my story with. That goes to everybody. DJ, B-Buck, you know, everyone. The story and everything that we're sitting here talking about and going through, it's just beginning.
That's why 2023 JECCz season.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I'll be looking forward to you coming back out here.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yep.
That's
the goal.
I know we said it a while back. Ago, but you know, definitely when it comes to us being in person versus the video, which of course he's gonna drop a video in the description in the link down there of our battle way back when, but it's overdue. We'd have, like you said, we'd have to do it again in person, and we will.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
We definitely will. That's a must.
Yeah.
All in all, bro, as far as this podcast goes, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and not only share my story with the world, but you know, just allow me time to go and to tell, not only tell my story, but give my input on things, whether it's in Crump or whether it's in life, bro. Continue to keep on going onwards and upwards.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that.
Of course, man. Honestly, coming from me, I also gotta thank you for agreeing to be on this episode, and also for sharing your stories, and also for sharing your learnings, you know, everything you've been through. Honestly, personally for me, I really got inspired by everything that you shared. Yeah, I know that we're both boys of the fam, but honestly, I also have to thank you for actually, fun fact, people, but Cameron here has been one of the people who's been helping me with my lab in JECCz Fam. So I also owe him a lot, and you know how it is, bro. Much love, and
always.
Really appreciate it. And actually, yeah, I guess that's it for this episode. So people, go subscribe to this YouTube channel. Don't miss out on the upcoming videos, and also comment your thoughts. Let us engage in the conversation as well in the comment section, and give a thumbs up. You know how it is. And how about you, Cam? You got anything to say to the viewers?
Like I said, man, just for anyone who's anyone who's watching, and that's like I said earlier, never be afraid to throw caution in the wind. Always keep an open mind. You know? Always keep an open mind. Never be afraid to be who you are. Be original to who you are. Stay true to yourself.
Stay true to yourself. So that's it from us, JECCz boys, and we'll see you soon in
yes, sir.
one of the upcoming episodes. JECCz up.